Welcome to Nebraska Preps Postgame with your hosts, Mike Sautter and Jacob Padilla.
Hey everyone, welcome back for another Nebraska Preps Postgame. Playoff football action happened on Friday night. A lot of it, every one of it, actually. Every little ounce, every little bit of it happened on Friday night. That sounds like a song. Probably is somewhere. That I'm not aware of. But anyway, all right. So we want to start with Class A. Let's review what happened, and then we'll maybe look ahead a little bit as we kind of get through it. So ready? 3, 2, 1, go. West Side.
Pretty similar to the first time they played. Actually, even more.
It's 47.
Yeah. In the first game, Prep's touchdown actually came before garbage time. This one was at the end. So 54-6 final. Anthony Rizak, 4 touchdowns. He did throw an interception. Kid slacking. Can't believe he actually turned the ball over, but
one time.
James Ross, 149 yards and 3 touchdowns. Christian Jones had himself a day. 6 catches, 117 yards and 2 touchdowns. Caleb Benning caught a touchdown as well.
Not just a linebacker.
And a pick. Yeah. And he's had some.
Not just a linebacker.
He's had some big time catches and runs. He's had some long touchdowns.
In June, I showed up to some of their stuff. They're like, we're going to use him as tight end and like split him out and stuff. And that's what they're doing. It's working.
Yep. It is certainly working. So Westside improves to 10-0. Moving on to the quarterfinals, where they will face Bellevue West. Pulled out the win in the 9-8 game. We thought it would be a fun one, but a lot of points. But Bell West ended up winning that thing by 2 touchdowns, 48-34. Danny Kalen, 276 yards and 2 scores, but CJ Goff.
He had a good game.
I think you talked about that too. Like if Key was going to be able, can Bell West run the ball to keep them to keep that offense balanced, and 32 carries for 182 yards, 4 touchdowns.
He had a really good day. They needed, the wind was a factor, right? A little bit, because blowing out north was cold. I mean, it's November, or basically November football, playoff football in Nebraska. That's just what you're going to get. CJ was really good though. And their offense was clicking. I mean, it was clicking.
I mean, they've obviously gone through a lot this season, but it seems like they figured some things out. They showed some stuff defensively today, on Friday. They got the offense rolling there. 48 points. They haven't done that against a playoff quality team.
It feels like the corner has turned for Bellevue West, and they're heading in the right direction. It's just a matter of
problem is
how much
there's a wall there after they turn the corner. They ran into an alley, and they got to find a way to get through that.
They're healthy though. This is the healthiest they've been since week 2 or whatever, the last time they played Westside.
Isaiah McMorris, 9 catches, 145 yards, a touchdown, plus a pick on defense. Davon Hall caught a touchdown as well. So he's got it. Kalen's got his weapons there. They got the ground game going, and they're going to need every bit of it against Westside. We were both there in round 1. Westside was pretty firm control of that one.
Close.
So we'll see round 2 coming up here. Moving through the bracket there, Millard West. There was
handled their business.
That's a good way to put it. Obviously, last time it was a 1-score game between Millard West and Millard North. It was a lot
49-14 is pretty. They scored in every way.
And
returns, all of it.
Basically,
defensive touchdown.
Which is basically Jackson Williams' entire season, just scoring in every way possible.
Bobby Joseph's had a really nice year for Millard West.
He just committed to South Dakota for track, I believe, right? Obviously a pretty darn good athlete there, and gives them that running game to go with Peterson at quarterback, and obviously Williams at receiver and running back and receiver and returner. That does it all for them. The other probably the most surprising, I think, a lot of these others.
The first time they played was
close.
10, it was 10-7 or whatever it was. It was really close. So,
but Kearney still, the season they put together, the 8-1 going into that game, and Grand Island got it done, 29-19 at Kearney as the 13 seed, and really impressive performance. They had 6 sacks, 9 tackles for loss, and they took away a fumble. So that defense was on point. They were all over the place. Offensively, they moved the ball 207 yards on the ground by
That's how they're
four,
going to win.
5 different guys.
Yeah.
So just there wasn't one guy that was kind of run the offense. They were getting a lot of different guys involved. Bodie Alvarez had a through for a touchdown, and so they had, and he also had 2 rushing touchdowns as well. So he put up the points there for them at quarterback.
Hey, Jeff Tomlin and winning when it gets late in the season is a thing. Said it forever. He's one of the best high school coaches in the state, if not the. I mean, he's definitely in the conversation. Gets more out of less all the time. All those things. Like it's been talked about before, but just does a fantastic job at Grand Island and pulling out. I mean, rivalry win at that. It's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, and Justice Hostetler had 3 of those 6 sacks as well to kind of lead that defensive effort. So, I mean, it was tight going in the fourth quarter. I mean, Kearney led 19-16, and then Grand Island just 13-0 in the fourth quarter to win that thing. So, really impressive resiliency from the Islanders, and they move on as the 13 seed. To face Millard West.
4:00 game. Another doubleheader of Buell and just fun. Like as someone who likes to go to a lot of places, I'm cool with that. So moving on, Elkhorn South handled Papio South. There wasn't,
42-8.
Yeah. That was a little bit of to be expected, I guess, in that game.
Yeah. I mean, Elkhorn, again, losing their quarterback mid-season, the way that Elkhorn South is playing, really
still only have that one
performance.
loss.
Yeah.
They're 9-1 right now.
Yeah, really. Yeah, and obviously they didn't get to play West Side during the regular season.
They're doing it with their defense,
so we didn't get to see the and we talked about that Millard South game where it was weird. Obviously, Ronner wasn't left early in that one, and some weird stuff happened.
Little emotional
to put extra
in
points.
To start,
but they've rebounded nicely and can only play who's on your schedule, and they have looked really impressive while doing it.
Speaking of impressive, Lincoln East is going to play Elkhorn South. 24-17 win.
We said that
2-0 against Southeast this year.
We said that one was more of a toss-up than you typically would see with the 6-11 seed. Or 6 versus 11. But that was Lincoln East. Jeter Worley, another big day. 12-16 for 131 yards and a touchdown, and 23 carries for 163 yards and 2 more scores. And it really does kind of their offense goes as he goes.
Oh, yeah.
Dash Bowman's a great player and is capable of having some monster games. But when Worley is locked in, like, their offense is tough. When he's not, like when he struggled against Gretna in that last game, close out the regular season.
When he's trying to do a little too much,
he
gets a little wild at times. But man, he runs around.
Such a difference maker.
Uses his legs. You got to try and keep him contained. Going to be interesting. I mean, the size up front in that one is not really. If you look at it, it's a little big versus small, but. East is tough. We'll see.
Yeah.
Like the front for Elkhorn South defensive front is pretty big guys.
And Bowman had 97 yards. Caden Sedek had a 47-yard receiving touchdown. Got him with the long one there. And for Southeast, shout out to Caden Logan, just a freshman who wasn't really a main focus early in the season, but as the season went on, he kind of really basically won that starting running back job. They started playing through him, multiple 100-yard games. He had 104 yards on 14 carries in this one.
He also allowed Cash to play defense.
Yes, to focus more on that and be more of just kind of where we need him on offense versus having to carry the load there. He did have 4 catches or 4 carries for 24 yards and a touchdown. Also had 12 tackles and 2 forced fumbles.
He turned more into like the goal line guy for them a little bit.
So he's had a great season as well. Logan's I think if you're a Southeast fan, you're excited about what the future will look like.
They're always going to have big linemen. They're always like all that. So Omaha North, the game of the night.
Oh, yeah.
Easily the game of the night.
Yeah.
Omaha North 35-34 in double overtime, or I guess second stanza of overtime. And let me tell you, I was driving as watching the game because I was going to a different game. And that catch that future Husker Donovan Jones had was incredible.
Let's back it up and start through, because we got to go through this whole thing, because this was a phenomenal game. That ended up being the difference maker that set up the win. But it was 17-13 Gretna into the fourth quarter. And then Elijah Mitchell picked off. I think it was a third down play. They were trying to little bubble screen or something out there. Threw it. Elijah Mitchell picked it off. And so now down by 4 with late in the corner, they got the ball inside the red zone. And North managed to take advantage of that. They got the ball at the 10 with 2 minutes left. Jaron Cannon punched in 13 seconds later for a touchdown. And so now Gretna's in trouble, backed up. He just basically gave away the lead there. Now you had to go operate in the clutch. And credit to Alex Wilcoxon and his receivers moving that ball down the field. Guys were getting open, putting the ball on the money, got them down the field. And they had a couple of chances to score there, but couldn't quite do it. Ended up kicking the game tying field goal for Cameron Bothwell with 3 seconds left to send that to overtime.
Barely.
Yeah.
Like it skimmed over the crossbar.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
And so that sent it to overtime. First play of overtime, North Cannon, right through the defense.
He's a nice back,
touchdown.
Man. He's gonna be. They found another one there.
Very much so. But Gretna answered. Wilcoxon found Michael Sheaf for the touchdown.
Sheaf had a good game.
He's a good player. He's really emerged for them this year. And so double overtime. Gretna went first. Wilcoxon scored himself, and they kicked the PAT.
Yep.
North got the ball, and man, it was an eventful possession. And then finally, first Circo spins out of a sack, rolls out to his right, chucks it up there.
It was a great throw.
Jones went up, pulled it in with one hand, secured it with 2 as he was going down, and tapped the feet
on the back of the end zone in the corner.
Yeah, because it
was incredible.
I was watching on the stream, and I was like, wait, did he catch? Wait, was he it? It did not look like that. I was like,
the throw was really good though too. Yeah. For now, Sebastian Circo gets a lot of criticism, but he played a pretty good game,
and so made that throw, and then North decides, we're going for the win here. They lined up, and Circo dropped back, nothing to rolled out, and just sprinted to the corner, beat everybody to the end zone for the 2-point conversion to send North to the second round. So it's been an up and down season for Circo, but he certainly showed up in the biggest moments for North last week.
And now their reward is Millard South, who handled North Star. Pretty handily, actually.
And I will say, the game plan was interesting for Gretna. Isaiah Weber, only 87 yards, but only carried it 17 times. So you would have thought maybe, I don't know if it was the defensive front they were showing.
Yeah.
It's not bad yards per carry, but Wilcoxon had the majority, 160 yards and 2 touchdowns. Also had 2 rushing touchdowns. You mentioned Sheaf.
North's defensive line is pretty good.
Yes.
So.
You mentioned Sheaf had 2 touchdowns, 11 tackles. Blake Hawkins had 14 tackles, 3 for loss and a sack, but it wasn't enough. North took care of business there again. So Donovan Jones hasn't, they don't throw him the ball a ton on offense.
Champ was out too.
Yeah. So
Champ Davis was out. So
I missed that. I didn't get to see the start.
That chain, they needed someone to go to because he's their go-to receiver.
But I will say, he doesn't catch a ton of balls, but he's capable of going up. He had a really nice catch against Central. From what I remember, he's a good athlete. He had
basically help him win the game.
So he is a guy that I think Nebraska fans are going to be excited. This is one of those guys that
he's electric.
I think Rule and his staff knew what they're talking about, making that offer there and getting him committed. So Jones, great game there, and they're going to need him again. Yeah, like you said, Millard South, 38-0 against Lincoln North Star. 108 yards passing and a touchdown, plus a rushing touchdown for Tamala Feller, 151 yards on the ground and a touchdown. Dax Williams had a touchdown. Offense was 457 to 94. So I think that's all we need to talk about there. Millard South moving on. They will face Omaha North.
Two good defensive lines.
Yeah.
That's going to be a defensive game for sure. Like, I can't see a ton of points happening in that game.
Yep. So we have Omaha West Side and Belleville West and Millard West Grand Island. That second one is the 4:00 game mentioned there. And then on the other side of the bracket, Elkhorn South against Lincoln East. That's an 8 o'clock. Yeah, 8 o'clock game. And then Millard South and Omaha North is also 8 o'clock at Buell. So
not a lot of chalk. A lot of chalk.
Well, yeah, you look at it, we've got 4 double-digit seeds still alive. So 4 of the top 5 seeds survived, but a lot of upsets beyond that. Class B was
let's move on to
similar.
B.
We had a couple of double-digit seeds there in B as well. Bennington took care of business. The 1 seed, 65-7 against Crete. I mean, they didn't need to tax anybody too much there. Norris won that one as the 9 seed over Northwest.
At Northwest, that score is a little surprising.
50 to
14. A lot of points. I know Northwest has been decimated with injuries all year, but still a lot of points.
Blake Macklin.
Norris is coming.
17 carries for 234 yards and 4 touchdowns. He also had a 40-yard interception return touchdown. That kid had himself a heck of a night. I think we could probably go ahead and call him the player of the night on Friday. We'll make that the shout out segment right there. Austin Holt had 12 tackles. They had 4 sacks and 2 interceptions against the pass heavy Northwest offense there. So great showing by Norris. And now they'll
Norris Bennington
get to take on Bennington.
Can it get interesting?
I mean, if Blake Macklin runs for 200 yards, yes.
If I'll say this, to beat Bennington, you're going to have to score 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like somebody's going to have to score 4 touchdowns against him. Can it be done? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's because it hasn't really been done all year.
No, it has not.
So, or at least, how about this? More than 21.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's tough. Their defense is salty.
And obviously they got an easy night. Didn't need Kyler Lordson.
But Norris
out there
is coming a little bit. Like they've won a lot. They're healthy again. Like they missed guys missed some time at the beginning of the year. So that one could be interesting, I think. Okay, Elkhorn North, Scotts Bluff is the next matchup. Elkhorn North survives.
Yeah, it was a little bit tougher than the previous
I got there. I was headed there because I saw the halftime score, and I'm like, oh man, I better get there. And it's just a good matchup for Elkhorn, I guess, against Elkhorn North, and Elkhorn North survives, but they're gonna face a Scotts Bluff team that's gonna just want to run it down their throat, and that's kind of what Elkhorn likes to do. So,
Johnny Ferguson threw for 128 yards and a score, and ran for 122 yards and 2 scores.
Yeah, he ran a lot. Felt like he was running a lot.
So did Jet Tinglehoff. 20 carries, 147 yards, and a touchdown. Tommy Mechna had 63 yards receiving and including a touchdown.
To seal the game in the corner was super good.
It
was really good. I was on the opposite end of it, but it was a really good catch.
He's had
a really good year.
Yes. And then Jace Reynolds, just a young guy for them. That hits the guy you'll want to keep an eye on down the road. 5 tackles, a tackle for loss, and 2 interceptions there. 31-21 was the final there. Elkhorn North moves on, and Scotts Bluff 14-0 against York
on the road.
So I was kind of watching the stream on that one while I was at volleyball trying to. It's no sound, anything, hard to tell exactly what was going on, but they got those 14 pretty early and then kind of held on throughout the second half. Just really impressive defense performance. York just could not sustain.
Seems like they lost to them earlier.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And Scotts Bluff has had an interesting season. Got off to a good start, then they hit a really rough stretch of their schedule and lost every one of those. Lost 4 in a row, I think it was, and a couple of tough losses in there where it could have gone the other way. And now here they are at 6-4, advancing to the second round to get a crack at Elkhorn North. And obviously Sebastian Boyle there is the guy for them. Nate Kelly at quarterback. That's a tough 2-man running attack there. And again, defensively, they shut out York. So
yeah, they lost to York 14-10.
Yep.
Lost to Northwest 35-34. Lost to Waverly 27-13. Lost to Hastings 29-28 in a row, 4 in a row.
Yeah. And again, 2 1-point losses there. Could have gone either way. And even that Waverly game, that was 27-0 at halftime. They had some weird things go against them, got themselves a big hole, and they battled back to make it somewhat competitive there in the second half. They didn't fold. So that's a tough team. So I'm be very curious to see how that one turns
4
out.
4 game too.
Yeah.
Get the 4. I'm planning on maybe getting to that if I can.
Scott was not as interesting. 42-14, like we talked about. Last game of the season, we're maybe not going all out.
Figured that one was.
I think that was probably the case. 42-14 against Gross. So Scott moves on, and here is the other big upset. I mean, Scottsbluff, I think, was better than the 13 seed because of what we talked about there with the way the season went. But Blair, 11 seed.
Blair winning at Plattsmouth.
Yeah. That's like I didn't see all the results on Friday because I was focused on other things. So this is when I was going through my prep. I was like, wait a second, what? I did not see that final pop up on my TL at all. So and Blair is team Damon and I talked about early in the season, like preseason top 10 team. You liked the quarterback, the running back, thought had a chance.
Good. Yeah. And
they kind of stumbled through the season. Obviously Class B played some tough schedules there, weren't able to kind of score any of those big wins, but they scored one last Friday, 21-14 Blair against Plattsmouth. Bodie Suckup, 150 yards passing and 2 touchdowns, and Brock Templar, 21 carries, 91 yards, 8 tackles, 1 for loss. He's had a phenomenal season for them. Really tough player at running back. Blaze Bowman had the other touchdown there on the ground. And I mean, Caleb Adkins had a monster game for Plattsmouth, had both their touchdowns, 54 yards rushing, 14 tackles, had a 10-yard reception.
So tough.
But they limited Villamonte to 76 yards and a pick, and they limited Versalino to 71 yards as well. So really impressive performance by Blair's defense there on the road to go knock off Plattsmouth, who had
Caleb Atkins also had 14 tackles, right?
Yeah. He is
my guy.
He is a monster. And bottom of the bracket there, Hastings 35-6 against Seward, and Seward's a team that they were kind of trending in the wrong direction heading into the postseason. I don't know if it's injuries or what it is, but they've been struggling recently. And Hastings, on the other hand,
they've been winning. I mean, I think the Scottsbluff win really kind of gave them some shot of confidence.
100%. So they're the 10 seed, right in that confidence into the quarterfinals now, where they will face
Waverly. Tough Waverly.
Yeah, who, man, they've been really good all year long. They are 10-0.
They've been just killing.
42-0 against Ralston, and they ran the ball 35 times for 374 yards and 4 touchdowns as a team. So, I mean, that's better than 10 yards a carry. I think that's going to win you a lot of football games.
Yeah.
Aiden Smith, 2 scores, Harrison Smith, a touchdown, Nolan Moss, a touchdown, and Evan Castens and Nathan Axman had receiving touchdowns. So again, that team has to be so hard to scout and plan for because they
got a lot of pieces.
They use so many different guys and they spread the ball around so much. They don't ever ride one guy for multiple games in a row where you're giving one person 30 carries and you're just spreading around there. And so that's got to be tough to game plan against, especially here in the postseason now. So that's Class B. They're Bennington Norris, Elkhorn North, Scottsbluff, Scott against Blair, and Waverly against Hastings. So again, 3 double-digit seeds plus the 9 seeds. So we had more upsets. And similarly, for the top 5 seeds advance and B, just like in both classes, had some similar results there. So C1, quick through that, not as much. All the home seeds won, or the high seeds won. They went 8-0. Wahoo,
real quick.
Yeah.
One thing on Waverly, they have the most points they've given up. They gave up 22 to Norris. Other than that, they've given up 14, 7, 13, 6, 6. They have 1, 2, I'm doing math, 3, 4 shutouts on the year.
They are very good.
In 10 games, they have 4 shutouts. Yeah. Like not even like the junk time, like JV time.
And it's interesting too, because like during the regular season, it's always fun when you get like the 1 versus 2, the best teams, like game of the year in the regular season. But there's also something extra when that doesn't happen, and so you see the collision course in the postseason where Waverly has a chance against Scott and then Bennington.
Play each other.
Just looking at the seeds there,
I might have to be at that. Like I don't.
Well,
I might have to go down.
So Wahoo, Boone Central, Ashland Greenwood, all one huge. Parker Bohr, 145 yards, 2 touchdowns. For Ashland Greenwood, Drake Zimmerman, 194 yards and 2 touchdowns.
He had a great
Jacobs,
not only
Jacobson.
Not only that, he had the opening kick. He ran it back for a touchdown. Drake Zimmerman did.
Phenomenal season.
Yeah.
Dane Jacobson threw for 4 touchdowns, completed 10 passes, 4 of them ended up in the end zone. So
it was running clock at half.
Pretty good day. Yeah, you started at that one.
Yeah.
So there it's a little bit more interesting. Some of the others, Sydney 28-14 against Gothenburg there. It was 14-0 at halftime, and then Sydney just kind of treaded water in the second half. Isaac Doty has basically done it all for them all season long at quarterback. 127 yards passing and a touchdown, only 1 incompletion, and 129 yards on the ground and another touchdown. Luke Hawley had 149 yards and 2 touchdowns there. The 5 seed Pierce wasn't as
handled their business.
Defense. We talked about expect a lot of points in this one. That wasn't the case.
No.
The Pierce defense held Ron Colley to 14 points. It was 20-0 at halftime. 34 final on that. In that one, Keenan Valverde, 187 yards, 35 carries, and a touchdown. And then Champion White in the quarterback, 59 yards and 2 touchdowns passing, and 114 yards and a touchdown rushing there. Adams Central at the 6 seed escaped 9-7 against Auburn there.
Aurora.
Against Aurora. Sorry. Auburn's the next one. 130 total yards for Adams Central, and they won.
Still won.
They picked off Sharman twice there. But 9-7. So that is the definition of a grinder there for Adams Central.
Central's had a heck of a year.
Very much
really
so.
Good year.
And now it moves on. And then Auburn mentioned 36-32 against Ogallala. I think
Mav Binder has been killing it.
That was the game of the day in C1, I
Maverick
believe.
Binder has been killing it.
192 yards, 4 touchdowns, incling the game-winning touchdown at the very end there.
50 seconds left or something.
Yeah. Yep. So heartbreaker for Ogallala, but great game, great season for Binder, who has really emerged as the season's gone on and put up some monster games down the stretch. And then finally, Broken Bow, 28, DC West 20. DC
Good
West
win for Broken Bow.
Yeah, DC West has had a phenomenal, their best season in a long time. And it was 14-6 at half. Just Broken Bow was able to kind of hold off there and get that win there. They said 28-20. So 1-score game there, but took care of business as the 8 seed and they're moving on. So, that's C1 is the top 8 seeds advance. Wahoo against Broken Bow, Sydney against Pierce, Ashland Greenwood against Adams Central, and Boone Central against Auburn.
Let's take a quick glance at C2 before we get out of here.
7 of the 8 top seeds won. So
Norfolk Catholic won, Kearney Catholic won, Battle Creek just decimated injuries. Just kind of tough way to end your season if you're Battle Creek, and they had a really nice team when fully healthy. So, but Kearney Catholic is, hey, get that playoff win. They were young, really young 2 years ago. Lost a lot, of games. Didn't win like they normally do, but really moving in the right direction and getting a playoff win's big. Malcolm wins over Chase County. Fillmore Central.
That was only 20, and that was kind of the top seeds won, but there weren't a lot of blowouts. Yeah. Malcolm won 20-8.
2012.
Or 2012. Yeah, they won by 8. So single score game there. Fillmore Central 16-6 over Wilbur Clatonia. So low scoring there. Luke Kimbrough had 2 touchdowns for Fillmore Central.
Ord won 18-13.
Yeah,
close one.
it's a weird score.
Yeah.
Dylan
Score
Hurlbert,
got me,
108
bro.
yards and a touchdown, 89 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Trent McCain had 124 yards rushing, but yeah, so as a 3 seed, escape with a 5-point win there. 6 seed, we talked about this one.
Okay, we got to talk about Mitchell. First playoff win in school history, and they
58-20
smoked.
That's more.
Newman.
Yeah, that is a beatdown there.
Yeah.
For a team that we thought like
People thought like, no, yeah,
yeah.
you want to go out there and play them, whatever. I guess you didn't.
Yeah. 48 carries for 511 yards and 6 touchdowns for Mitchell there. Santi Castillo, 9 carries, 225 yards, 2 touchdowns. Des Smith, 12, 159 and a score. And Cale Peters, 27, 127 and 3. So 3 guys just absolutely carrying the load for them, putting up monster numbers. I mean, Connor Booth, nearly 200 yards himself, but Newman just could not keep up, could not slow down Mitchell there.
Now, Mitchell goes to Ord. That's not like going across the state either for a long road trip for a quarterfinal game. It's not, it's far, but it's not like, going to Oakland or anything or UTAN. Yeah. So, like,
speaking of UTAN, they were the one upset in C2, the 10 seed, and boy, 42-6 over Hastings St. Cecilia.
Yeah,
that really impressive performance for UTAN, who is 8-2 now on the year. Joey Benjamin had 77 yards and a touchdown rushing, and AJ Arnsberg had a 54-yard interception return for a touchdown there. A couple of the highlights there for UTAN. So they will face Oakland Craig, who won handily against Amherst 37-6. So Norfolk Catholic against Kearney Catholic, Malcolm against Fillmore Central, Ord against Mitchell, and UTAN against Oakland Craig.
Yeah, that's C2. So, all right, we got to get out of here. We don't have any more time for the 8-man, but we will likely get to 8-man next week.
The further we get, the more
harder to.
Might have to hit on a little bit of volleyball too. Or I'll be spending
volleyball. Yeah.
All week.
We both will. I mean, you'll be there more than me a little bit, but that's for other reasons. So, yeah. All right, that'll do it for Nebraska Preps post game this week.